21 seasons, 3,564 innings pitched, 687 games, 249 wins, 2 World Series championships. When you think back on your prolific career, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
How the hell did I get here? I was plagued with injuries early on. Tommy John in 84, 5, 86, rotator cuff, labrum, and just going through all those rehabilitations to get better, to get to the ultimate goal, to the big leagues. And there was times where I wanted to quit because it was so grueling going through these rehab assignments with all these physical therapists. And but once you got that opportunity and you saw what it was like, the money was good, all you had to do was just maintain and be productive. And that's what it did, and it led me on to a 21-year journey.
How many surgeries do you think you sustained over the course of your career? Point to them on your body.
I had Tommy John, which is covered up now with a zipper with the key. So I did that before I even made the big leagues. That was, a couple years after high school. In the minor leagues, I had Tommy John. So a year later, actually 2 years later, I compensated for my elbow, for my shoulder. So in 1986, after the season, I had rotator and labrum. So that happened before the big leagues. And through the course of my career, I've had 2 back surgeries. I've had 2 knee surgeries. And then I had elbow in 94. I just had some loose chips taken out of the back of my elbow, just from pitching. I mean, pitching is an unnatural motion.
As you would expect, all those innings, all those surgeries led to a lot of pain. And just like so many Americans, Wells was introduced to painkillers. Can you tell me the first time you thought about, heard about, or inclined to even inquire about painkillers?
Early in my career, they would give you some ibuprofen or something like that. Here, go get them, kid. As you go through these seasons and as you graduate more and more understanding, then you have your first surgery.
I think people overlook that this is a medicine and it's a healing medicine. And the rhetoric hasn't always supported that. I mean, I use these topicals all the time, on my knees, on my shoulders, on my back.
I was just about to say
all that type of stuff.
Is that for the pain that you experience in the league that you still deal with?
Yes. So, pain, arthritis, any inflammation, there's stuff all for these type of things.
Yeah, I was just about to say the anti-inflammatory, but them topicals, oh man, like my granny, I gave some to my granny and she's calling me all the time, hey, do you have some more of that cream? Because it really works.
The CBD is a huge market now, and the CBD is without the psychoactive effects of the THC. So that's what CBD is. So now you're getting the effects of cannabis, but you're not getting the psychoactive effects that make you feel high.
Through the course of my career, I've had 2 back surgeries. I've had 2 knee surgeries. And then I had elbow in 94. I just had some loose chips taken out of the back of my elbow, just from pitching. I mean, pitching is an unnatural motion.
As you would expect, all those innings, all those surgeries led to a lot of pain. And just like so many Americans, Wells was introduced to painkillers. Can you tell me the first time you thought about, heard about, or inclined to even inquire about painkillers?
Early in my career, they would give you some ibuprofen or something like that. Here, go get them, kid. As you go through these seasons and as you graduate more and more understanding, then you have your first surgery. Okay, then when you come out of the operating table to the recovery room and you wake up, and then when that wears off, you're like, wow. And I recall that in what year was it, 1986, when I had my first shoulder surgery. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs, give me morphine. And the nurses wouldn't do it. Dr. Andrews comes in and says, give him some morphine.
So you had a lot of personal experience with CBD helping your migraines, your pain from sports, is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. Now, when I was playing, I didn't. So when I was playing, I didn't even know anything about CBD, didn't touch it, didn't understand it. But after I retired, I've been beat up for a long time. And so I had inflammation, I had pain in my knees.
You were a running back. That's like the worst position.
Everybody's been being hush-hush and being fake. I mean, only way people gonna find out about something if you speak about it and talk about it. Because if not, you keep it like it's a secret. How else is it gonna expand and evolve for the world to everybody understand what cannabis actually does for you.
So the next CBA is 2020, right? And I think it's just something that's just got to be on the table.
So when you were taking the Percocets, how was the feeling, the sensation when you were on that drug?
I felt pretty damn good. I mean, it got me through, pain-free. When it wears off, you just blah, you feel your aches and pains. So that temptation is there. Do I take another one? I'm pitching at 7:05 and it lasts till, 10:30, 11 o'clock. Do I need another one? I've just done my job. Well, after a game, you usually go out, pop another one. It wasn't a habit of doing it, but I did it quite a bit through my career. I'd say probably from 99 on, probably 75, 80% of the time I was on it. And then recreational, depending on what we did that week or that weekend. I just took the painkillers as needed and then got off of them. And that was it until later on in my career in 99 when I was, I had, just a lot of pains and, black market stuff you can get because you can't just go to your doctor, hey man, give me a couple hundred Percocets. So, through friends and all that, you know where to get them, and that's how I'm like, wow, these are awesome. I started taking them as needed, because I can get them. Touch of a dial, boom, how many you need? I got them, and then that was it.
For 16 years, Wells had a steady regimen of Vicodin, Percocet, and Toradol, even continuing use of prescription painkillers after retiring from baseball in 2007, until he was introduced to something that would change his life forever. Wells saw a 60-minute special about something called CBD oil and how it helped a 4-year-old girl overcome chronic seizures. His eyes were opened.
I watched it and I was just really, like amazed how nobody wants to sell to a 4-year-old, but finally they got her on there, these 5 brothers in Colorado, and they got him on. So I talked to my buddy Steve. I said, Steve, do you know how to get the CBD? And he just looked at me and he laughed and he goes, I grow it. I grow it.
So Rob Gronkowski also launched a CBD product this week and also talked about how maybe it could have helped his recovery and his career. Look, a lot of these claims about CBD so far are unproven. This is a brand new industry that's barely even, us trying to figure out, okay, CBD from hemp is okay, but not from...
Yeah.
Why do you know, or why do you feel confident enough to say spend $8 basically for this drink? There's no THC. It's not the stuff that gets you high.
Correct.
Just the CBD.
Yes, Patriot fans. I love all my fans. I love Patriot fans. And wherever I go, Patriot fans always ask, am I coming back? When I'm coming back? Where am I coming back? I'm walking across the street and they're like, you're walking because you're coming back. And it's crazy. I understand. I feel that love. But I want to be clear to my fans. I needed to recover. I was not in a good place. Football was bringing me down, and I didn't like it. And I was losing that joy in life, like the joy. I'm sorry right now, but dang, I really was, and I was fighting through it. And I knew what I signed up for, and I knew what I was fighting through. And I knew I just have to fix myself. And I believe I have the tools, I have the people around me. I have CBD medic team around me now to help me to deal with my pain whenever I need it, during a workout, whatever it is, so I can do the most safe alternative way for myself. And I believe I have the great people around me to get to where I need to get to in life. And I am very satisfied where I am in life now. And I truly believe going through those tough times, 9 years, off the field, on the field, has brought me to this point, and I believe I'm on the right path in my life.
To gain clarity, I sat down with Dr. Alan Frankel, an LA-based internist who has spent much of his 37-year career studying the effects of cannabis. So what are the facts about CBD?
One, that it's probably over 100,000 years old, as well as THC. This was, for sure, a medicinal plant. It doesn't have it's not like an opium plant or a coca plant where people get tremendous psychoactivity. The natural cannabis plant, as it came before the 50s, and now we're breeding all those strains back, which is a huge part of my work, which I love, people don't get high. They feel good. That helps with pain. It helps protect the brain, the heart. It was one of the most protective plants on the planet.
A lot of athletes get injured, have surgeries all the time. It's a part of the game. What are your thoughts on the traditionally prescribed medicine that these guys get, the opioids versus the cannabis that they're not allowed to take, and what the benefits would be for an athlete?
First of all, I'm not saying that opiates are always bad and never indicated. In acute situations, for pain relief, they're effective. The problem is the chronic use. So chronic pain or preventing pain or dealing with preventing inflammation is more rational. I would argue for CBD on a regular basis, frankly, for everybody in this room, everybody in this building. If you're a professional sports person and you're injured, I mean, it's your family, it's money, it's your career, it's everything. And once you start down the narcotic path, it is never a healthy path, because if you get tolerance with narcotics. You do not get tolerance with CBD.
According to Dr. Frankel, CBD oil can be beneficial in many ways, including treating certain cancers, seizures, anxiety and mood disorders, lowering blood glucose in diabetics, and pain relief. So doctor, forgive me if I sound a little crass here, but it sounds like the miracle medicine. It sounds perfect. What's the negative side? Where's the abuse that can happen with something like this?
I think the biggest issues with abuse that people talk about all the time are the high schoolers. And my personal view is, I'm sure there are a very small percentage, the US federal government says it's 5% of people who become addicted to cannabis. I don't know how many of those people truly become addicted as far as physical addiction, because that's difficult with cannabis. But if you're not motivated and you're not sure what you want to do and you want to hang around, cannabis makes it really easy to do it. But every morning you wake up, you're totally sober. You're not going through withdrawal.
Tell us about the sensation you had when you took the CBD for the first time.
It was amazing. I said, am I going to get high? Because I'm a coach. I coach high school baseball. So I don't want to go to the park high as a kite. I said, I need something, because I'm on my feet all day, or at least for 4 or 5 hours during practice. He goes, try this. 20 minutes later after I did, he goes, you high? And I'm like, no, I'm the same. I said, wow. And he goes, well, take the other, when you go home, take the other part of it and see how you feel then. I took it. I had the best night's sleep I've had in years. I don't give a crap what people say, what they think of me or whatever. Oh, you're a drug addict, whatever. I'm not a drug addict. I'm living proof that CBD works. I got a torn rotator cuff I've been blowing off for 3.5 years because I golf every day. I go fly fishing, I go hunting. I'm an outdoorsman, and I'm able to get full range of motion by taking CBD just a few times a day.
Wells recently had a serious rotator cuff surgery, and instead of using painkillers as in the past, he only used CBD oil to manage his pain after surgery and through the entire rehabilitation process. And Wells isn't the only athlete who is pushing for a change in how professional sports handle pain management. How do you feel about some professional athletes currently playing today lobbying their leagues to make this legal? Eugene Monroe of the Baltimore Ravens wrote a letter recently saying that this should be a legal substance to help with pain tolerance and pain management for NFL players, for example.
I'll go on the bandwagon with them. Because I'm a retired athlete. I wish I knew about it back when I played, because I would have been all over it. And I would have took those risks if they tested me and, hey, you got marijuana in your system. And I'll bring it to them. This is what it is. Dissect it. Go take it into a lab and see what it's about. Our government is not giving in. Other countries are. They're testing it. They're doing all this kind of stuff. Our government's not doing anything about it, because you know why? Because they're making almost $1 billion a year on pharmaceutical pills.
What do you think sports leagues should do with respect to cannabis?
I think the first thing they should do is stop testing for it. I think we have way bigger problems than cannabis. Number two, I would seriously consider putting these athletes, particularly the ones that have potential head traumas, on CBD. You don't have to use very much to protect the brain against hits. I think sports and cannabis has a very wonderful future. And safety. I mean, we can't knock our brains around and not try something. So CBD, as it's been patented for neuroprotection, and we know it helps healing concussions and so many other disorders, why in the world would we not give CBD to our professional athletes?
A lot of people say if you want to avoid heart disease and heart attacks, take aspirin daily. Is this something that people should be taking on a regular basis?
The short answer is Absolutely, yes. Currently, if you're a soldier in Israel and you have a head injury in the battlefield, you get CBD on the battlefield. If you have a heart attack and you go into emergency room in Jerusalem, you get CBD on the way up to the floor. If you have a stroke, you get CBD up on the way to the floor. What has that shown? It's a 50% reduction in either brain or heart damage. I believe 10 years from now, coaches and managers will be handing out CBD capsules to their players.
Do you think that the major sports leagues in this country are going to change their drug policy to allow CBD?
I say no, but I hope they research this and understand the value that it can be instead of, quick fixes, which are there. They need to open their eyes, like I said, and understand what this can do. I mean, I would rather see a guy take the CBD or take medical marijuana than see a guy taking a painkiller. Why not do something natural? Try something different. I'm living proof right now that CBD has made a major change in I'm 53 years old. I just turned 53. And I don't want to take those things. Like I said, I'm 3.5 years painkiller free. That's pretty good.